Hi everybody. Today we are going to talk about the Bartonville State Asylum, also known as the Peoria Asylum, but it's actually in Bartonville, Illinois. I have this book, Peoria's Haunted Memories. On the cover is actually the Bowen building, which is, they've tore it down now, but it was the more haunted thing. There is a whole chapter, you see all these pages just on the Bartonville Asylum. And this is in central Illinois. I think it's called mainly Peoria Asylum because Peoria is a bigger city than Bartonville. I think that's the reason why they've also, because this was in Ghost Hunters, I think, called it Peoria Asylum. And Ghost Asylum also went there too, but I don't remember that episode as well, so I can't remember what they called it. There's a picture. That's the Bowen building. I said that building is long tore down. I no longer live in central Illinois, so I don't remember how long it's been tore down. But because I've actually been to this place. And there's a picture of like the cemetery. And then there's a picture, I'm trying to see, of the tree. The significance of the tree is there is actually a very famous ghost story actually there's more than one, but the one I'm going over, it will be Bookbinder. And there's also Rhonda Derry. I think Ghost Asylum mainly focus on Rhonda Derry. But I won't be going into it because I would have to read more up on that one. I know a little bit more about Bookbinder. Plus the pictures. My face is itching again. Plus I have pictures that kind of coincide with the Bookbinder. Excuse me. So as this book, it tells all sorts of good information about the state hospital, and also has other haunted places. So if you live in the Peoria area, there's Peoria, Bartonville, Pekin, where I'm from. Try to think of other surrounding areas. I haven't really been through this whole book to know of other places, but there's a lot, like a whole book of nothing but haunted Peoria, which is in Illinois, obviously. And like I said, it has a picture of the Bowen building. I'm not being sponsored by this book or anything. I just really like it. Let's see if you can see. It's by them right there. But Bookbinder was there in, I got notes so I can remember. I didn't grab my notes. Bookbinder was unable to speak coherently. And all known was him as he came from a printing house. I got all this information out of this book. And so when he came there, they didn't know, excuse me, basically what his name was. So he got called Bookbinder. I know it was a Bookbinder. They may have known his first name. I forget what the A stood for. I'd have to go back over. But anyway, he started helping out with funerals. If you hear the beeping, I'm sorry. I was playing GTA and I'm letting my character build up, so you hear beeps every now and then. He was helping with the cemetery, and when somebody passed away, he would, he would dig up for their grave. And there was this old elm, which was the tree in the picture there, that since they were in the hospital, and a lot of family members back then didn't really go in. I think all the ones that are in there may have been unclaimed. I don't know. I would have to go back into that. I did this research a few days ago and I don't really remember, but he would go and bury these people. And since they wouldn't really that many people there to, weep for them, per se, he would go by this old elm tree and he would weep for every person that he buried. Well, it came like a tradition, per se. It would go, and they'd always know that Book would do this. Well, when he passed away, there was 300 spectators witnessed this event, and more than 100 of them were nurses. And I believe Dr. Zeller ran the institute, and I believe he was there too. I think he's the one that documented it, but I know more than 100 nurses, they start hearing this wailing. So they look over at the old elm tree, and everybody there actually saw Book standing at the elm tree crying for himself. But this, there's more than like 300 spectators, nurses, whatnot, that actually witnessed this event. Well, like I said, the Bowen building is now tore down. Unfortunately, well, it was decrepit, so it kind of had to be tore down. But there's another building across the street called the Polk Hospital. And I probably don't have my pronunciation correctly because I can't always pronunciate things very well. But it was the tuberculosis ward. This hospital is bigger than just the Bowen building. There was actually multiple buildings, like there was the tuberculosis ward, and there was other buildings as well. I don't remember their names. I don't know if it's in this book or not. Well, next to the Polk Hospital is where the cemetery is. At least one. I want to say there's 3, if I remember correctly. It's been a while since I've been out there. But I think there's like 3 connected to each other. At least one. We'll go with that. But they did, because somebody else owned Bowen Building, and then another like historical type group owned Polk Hospital. So they would go and they would do ghost tours, and on the ghost tours they'd have like actual people dressed up as like nurses from that time period. When I went there, I don't remember the year, but when I went there, they actually had, when we was touring the graveyards, they had actually people dressed up as what the people would dress up when they go dig up the graves, and they would like follow back behind the group, and it was kind of creepy. I don't remember if I have pictures of them or not, but if I do, I'll add them in. But it was, allowed to take pictures and everything. I have pictures on the inside, but can't really see different, if there's anything on the pictures on the inside. Am I even recording? Yeah, I am. Okay, sorry. My thing keeps flashing, so I couldn't see the little time in the bottom, so excuse me. Sorry. I'm still new to this, so bear with me. Eventually, I'm going to get better, and these will be longer and edited better, but I'm recording on my phone and whatever. But anyway, so I was going on this tour, taking pictures, and they was showing this tombstone, and it was out by some trees, which I don't think the old elm that they talk about in the picture, I don't think it's there no more. I could be wrong. It might have been still there. Well, anyway, there's a tombstone with a plaque on it for Bookbinder, and that was telling us the story of Bookbinder. And I took a picture of the tomb. Now, if I remember correctly, I might have this murdered, because even in the book it says he is in an unmarked grave. But I could have swore, but I know there was a tombstone there. It has a little plaque that says Bookbinder. So I don't know. He's like buried somewhere else, but they have a tombstone not too far away from the Polk Hospital building that says Bookbinder on it. So for some reason, maybe that's about where the tree was. I don't remember the reasoning why there was a tombstone in one location and he's buried in another. I don't really remember the story behind that. It actually might be in this book, but my memory's horrible and I don't remember. But anyway, I took a picture of the tombstone. And In one picture, there's absolutely not, well, you see feet of people because I was in a group. In one picture, there's absolutely nothing besides, like I said, the feet. And then another picture, you see this little white orb in it. And I'm actually going to insert those now. So. Those pictures are pretty cool. I know, there's orbs. It depends on what you think about orbs, too. But, some, yes, they could be dust. Or bugs, or whatever. But, it's in one picture and not the other. I don't know. But we continued on looking at the different tombstones. And I have another picture that it's just like a multitude of orbs above the tombstones. We'll take a look at them now. Aren't they pretty cool? I mean, there's so many of them. Now, I don't have a before and after picture of that one. I don't remember why I took multiple of the tombstone. But I only took one of the ones above the thing. Because I didn't see them when I was taking pictures. So I didn't know they were there until I got them home and I was looking at them. But, yeah, even if you don't get this book, research the Bookbinder story. I mean, all you have to do is type in, like, Bookbinder, and I'm pretty sure it just automatically comes up in your internet search. Bowen Building. I kind of went I stayed across the street, and I was with two other people, but I've been around paranormal since I was, like, 10, 11 years old, and at the time, I was like, if anybody's going to see anything, it's going to be me, and I don't want to go. So the people I was with, they went across the street and they tried to go, because it was closed off, you really weren't supposed to go there. So they went and they tried to get into the building. Well, I was keeping an eye out because they had flashlights and whatnot. So I was just, watching from across the street to see if I see anything. And I thought, unless somebody else had broke in, which could have been a possibility, I could have swore that they actually got into the building and was up on, like, I think it was the third floor. I don't know. It was one of the higher floors. Because I saw a flashlight moving around up there. And when they came back to the car, they said that they didn't get past, like, the nurse's station it was, like, all blocked off. They didn't get past that on the bottom floor. So, either I saw phantom lights, or somebody else had broke in and they were exploring, which was a possibility. It was a big place that people would break into and explore. But, yeah, I always been curious about these pictures, if they're actually orbs or not. I have another picture that I remember, because my son was kind of young and was going through it, because the Bartonville JVC, I think it was called, I don't know, the little football players. There was like little, I want to say little leagues. I know baseball, but I want to say it was like little league football. I know squat about football. So there's like I also call them the little leagues of football. They would run these events, and they would have this, it was over at the Polk Hospital, and they would have this big blowout screen, or blow up screen, like inflatable, and they would play like old horror movies, and they would have like a haunted house that you can actually walk into the Polk Hospital, and they would have like a little haunted house in there, which is kind of cool. But with real life horror stories in my life, I cannot handle haunted houses. I just can't do it. So I would never go to those, but we'd go to the movie nights. Well, one night I took my son. I want to say he was like 5, 6. It was just Shaun of the Dead, just something that's not really scary, silly movie. And we were watching that, and you had to actually go into the Polk Hospital if you had to use the restroom. And he was too little to go by himself, so I would go with him. Plus, he was kind of scared of the not like super scared, but he's just like, he didn't want to go in there because I don't think there was lights inside there, really. I think they may have had like a little lamp or something. But we were walking in there, and I was walking into the bathroom because they had a fake what's it called, coffin inside the bathroom, so which I didn't know about at the time, or I probably wouldn't have brought him. We were walking in, and he wanted me to go in there with him. And I went in there, and he turned around and was like, "What?" Like, "What? We're just walking into the bathroom." And he had felt like a little pinch on the back of his neck. And I really wish I would have just told him that I did it. But I was like, "I didn't touch you." And so he freaked out, obviously, and never wanted to go back, which I don't blame him. I never made him go. It was his actual choice because to go to see the movie anyway, because I was going and he wanted to see it. And it was a family event. They allowed kids. It was fun. It was put on by kids. They'd sell snacks and popcorn. It was actually cool, which I don't know if they still do those events. Because I used to go like all the time. They had used like one a month or something like that. But anyway, you know, he had somewhat possible experience. It could have been about anything. But, so he never wanted to go back. But I still went quite regular. I never had experience there. But anyway, I was showing him pictures, and I think it was, I don't remember if it was before or after that event. I don't remember, but I was showing him pictures of the ghost tour. And there was this one picture that's obviously just like a storage area that they was using. I don't know what it was previously, but what they were using was storage area for their football equipment. And he's just like, "Who's that?" And I looked, and I don't see anything. I've showed the picture to other people. Nobody can see what the heck he saw. I'll add it right here. If anybody else can see anything. If you do, let me know, because this has been a mystery that nobody could see what the heck, unless he saw the football like helmets and whatnot and thought there was a person there, which could be a possibility. Never know. Anyway, so there's a possible picture in there of something spooky. But yeah, if you ever get the chance to, I know Polk Hospital, I believe, still does ghost tours where you could go inside. I don't know, you would have to look it up. I know that they had a Facebook page. If I remember, I will type the name of the Facebook page, or I might look it up because I'm actually recording on my phone, so I can't look it up at the moment. But if I remember it, I will type it on there. We could go look up their Facebook page and see if you're ever in the central Illinois area. Bartonville is not too far away from Peoria. It really isn't. And if you live in like the Pekin or Canton or whatever, I think Canton's a little farther out, but Pekin, just drive over the river and go like 10-15 minutes and there you are. By river, I mean the Illinois River, because that separates the Peoria area from Tazewell area. But yeah, I had some pretty cool pictures come from there, and there's so many experiences, and that one big story with Bookbinder. That's really what intrigued me. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed. I'm sorry this is just kind of a talking video and I had a few pictures in there. I wanted to do a 3 a.m. challenge in the basement because we had so many hits. But I'm old and I can't stay up past 3 a.m. I tried. I really did. I tried. But it didn't happen. But we'll definitely probably do another spirit box somewhere in this house. I tried to do one in this location because these are the stairs that we hear a lot of things. Actually, we heard a bell last night. And almost like it's a cat collar has a bell. But he was asleep on the bed, like right next to me. He was not moving when we heard this bell. And it wasn't my dog's chains because it actually sounded like a bell. And she jingles, but it doesn't sound like a bell. Plus, I think she was sleeping as well. But both animals were in sight. I think she was laying in her doggy bed and the cat was laying on the bed. And I was like sitting or laying next to him. And I just look at my husband and I was like, what was that? He's like, it was a bell. I was like, yeah, the cat's laying down. So that was pretty crazy. And that was up here in the living room. Yeah, we have our bed because we're trying to redo floors. It's a huge mess. I don't know if that's what's kind of stirred up things because I don't know. But anyways, I hope you enjoy and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.